Hey everybody, it's AJ Puedan, and this is Better, Faster, and Easier. And I am here with my good friend Natasha, and today we're going to be talking about. We're just going to ponder life together. It's totally unscripted. We'll just see what kind of comes out. Generally, we talk about things that can make your life better, help you get results faster, or just how to make life easier. And yet, I met Natasha because through an unusual set of channels. Actually, I
Yeah.
think one person that I hardly knew referred me to someone else that I hardly knew that referred me to you that I hardly knew, and yet I had a lot of ideas and concepts in my head, and when it comes to teaching and talking, I could do that well, and yet when it came down to like putting it on paper, I was just like stuck, and I didn't know how to do it, and that was something you're really good at. So, anyways, that's how we met, and I found out that she does some amazing things. Not only does she have a great skill as a writer, she also has just doing some amazing things in the play. So, welcome, Natasha. How are you doing today?
Hey, thanks, AJ. I'm doing well. Thanks. How are you?
Doing awesome. So, the format of the show really is just kind of pondering life together. And, what if I was at Starbucks, what would I probably talk to you about? And, here's the thing. Natasha does, uh, uh, has a charity. It's called Redefining Refuge. And when I found out what that was all about, I was instantly intrigued by it. And last year you had a gala, and when when you look to just help this charity, it's not. Well, one thing, you do it in style. You do it, and you
Thank you.
and you
We
do it
tried.
big. It's like I see other people try to start these charities, and it's like they're getting like, well, I mean, God bless them. They're doing something, and that's a great thing. And yet they're doing it on a scale that just, well, it's not the scale that you're doing it on. And
Yeah.
it's, and so I love how you did that. So I donated my time there, and I wish I was in town this year. I would
I
definitely
know,
donate my
us
time
too. It was so great. Everyone enjoyed
again.
it so much.
Yeah. So tell me tell me about redefining refuge.
Well, I mean, as you know, it's an anti-trafficking organization
Hmm.
specifically for American children under the age of 18.
Hmm.
And I know when you and I talked about it, you were like, wait a minute, American kids, are they brought here? Are they born here? Are they sort of taken from somewhere else?
Hmm.
So, just like you were surprised, it's American born children who are citizens of
I'll
this
tell you,
country.
before talking to you, when you're talking about American-born children and in the United States, human trafficking, basically sex trafficking, sex slavery, in this
Exactly.
nation, it was like, well, first of all, oh my, shock, that this is the thing you're talking about. But I thought, okay, well, yeah, of course, I believe that's happening here. But I thought it was just like a little thing that's kind of happening here in the United States. I had no idea of the magnitude of this in the United States, and almost quite frankly in Tampa, in my backyard, what was
Exactly.
going on.
Exactly. And I mean, and it's staggering. It is, especially that it goes on in Tampa. People would never suspect that. In fact, I told you when I first started redefining refuge, people laughed at me, like blatantly laughed at me in my face and said, "Oh no, foreign girl, it's a foreign problem. It's not our problem."
Yeah.
So to see the strides that the cause in general has made has
Hmm.
been it's phenomenal. I mean, we've had help from the mayor, we're getting help from the governor. The
Hmm.
junior league has been a huge part of it. Everyone's starting to advocate and lobby for change, and I mean,
Hmm.
it's extraordinary to see where it was to where it's at now. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. You know, so this is going to be, if I would imagine for the listeners, because it was kind of shocking to me, and I guess, yet it's truth and it's important. What, can you kind of give me an idea of some statistics so that we know we're not talking about something small, we're talking about something big.
Well, I mean, up to 300,000 American-born children. Okay, so on average, what is that? 28,000 children a month, somewhere around there,
Uh huh.
are being trafficked within the United States. And this is sex trafficking. So we aren't even talking about labor trafficking or this is sex trafficking. A lot of the kids, the average age is 15. If the kids stay in that life, the average expectancy is only 6 or 7 years. So if we do not get these kids, sort of out of that situation, their lifespan is minimal. A lot of the population that we see in America, it's not the same way that it is overseas. So overseas people think, oh, it's kidnapping and what have you. In America, trafficking is a lot more advanced. So kids are being manipulated. And unfortunately, a lot of our population in Tampa especially is our foster care population. So children that are already in foster care that are sort of slipping through the cracks.
Wow. The when some of the things that you first said to me is like, what's your goal here? I mean, like, what do you want to do? And you said something to the effect of like, 20 years ago, if you were to talk about like spousal abuse, it'd be like a shameful thing. People wouldn't want to talk about it. But today, people say you would be encouraged. Look, no, you can't keep that quiet. You got to say something. And so you're kind of like starting something today that will, sex trafficking. Oh, we don't talk about that, but get it to be an acceptable thing to talk about, to not stand for. So therefore, 10 years, whatever, years from now, people say, no, you got to say something,
Exactly. I mean, it's very sad that it's a taboo subject, just, like domestic violence was, you said 20 years ago. 20 years ago, a woman wouldn't openly say, oh, my husband hits me, or a husband wouldn't openly say, oh, my wife hits me, or whatever the case is. So the same thing here. People don't want to talk about trafficking. Very taboo. So we're trying to get away from that and find ways to, how can we have this conversation without sort of making anybody feel uncomfortable, without insinuating that it's, only a certain population of people or a certain demographic and, all those sorts of things. So
yeah,
it's being on the front lines of something that hasn't,
Yeah. So, you're taking on a pretty big thing. It's another statistics just to say why it's big is like, when we think of like organized crime, we think drugs, guns, gangs, and stuff like that. And it's like, well, that's what crime 1 and 2. What's crime number 3? And it's trafficking.
It's trafficking. Exactly.
It's really that big. It's like the number 3 crime, and yet how is it that the number 3 crime is never talked about? So
yeah, I mean it is. It's the fastest growing organized crime aside from obviously drugs and weapons, which have historically been
yeah. So that being such a big thing, and you taking this on, it's like How did you just what was your plan of attack, so to say, or to do this? I mean, like, how did you get started with Redefining Refuge?
Well, I mean, honestly, it's been a work in progress for a long time. I started openly doing it in the public in 2010. I started working on it by myself in 2008, and I didn't really have a plan. I know, and that sounds horrible because people teach you that you have to know what you're doing, step 1, 2, 3. But for me, it wasn't like that. It was like, I'm going to do something. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm not just going to sit here and not do something. And so through all of my research, number 1 was to create awareness, to bring it to the community and say, this is a problem. And it's easy and it's not easy. I mean, we can all do it because we all have a voice. So giving a voice to the cause, that was my first thing.
Well, I love the fact that you said, it's great if you have a plan, and yet not having a plan isn't a reason to not do something.
Exactly.
It's like, look, if you have a plan, great, you do it. But if you don't have a plan, you still need to do something.
Exactly.
And that's awesome.
And you and I have talked before about sort of passion versus discipline. And so, I could have a fabulous business plan for Redefining Refuge and executive summary, which we have now, but I mean, we're a few years into it. But at the time, all I had was passion. And I think when you do something like this, the passion outweighs sort of the business logistics of it all, because there'll be times that you want to give up. like it is with anything, but your passion is what makes you keep moving forward.
I mean, you put a lot, like a lot of work into this. You know, I mean,
I,
a lot of work into
I
it,
have,
and
but
that
I do. I
awareness.
love it. I mean, I wish we didn't. I wish there wasn't a need for it, but
Hmm.
I do. Like, I love, I'm humbled, honestly, to be a part of it. And if we can help one child and that
Hmm.
one child turns out to be the child that helps 1,000 other kids, then it's worth it, right? Like one life. It's
So,
worth it.
so you know, your outreach of bringing awareness. I mean, like, where did it start? I mean, like today, I mean, now you have like these galas that are pretty phenomenal, and yet you didn't start off with a gala. I mean, like what was it in the early days? Your voice,
I
was it
mean,
just a website or what?
well, I mean, our website still needs to be updated. It's beautiful, but it still looks like it was a project. Um, our first event that we ever did was a 5K. There's a huge community of 5K runners in
Oh,
Tampa, and
okay.
our very first event, we organized the 5K. We think we had about 300 runners.
Did you join sponsors or did you start the 5K?
No, we just started the 5K. So
So so
we
you
went
just
to
look
the
for
city.
runners.
Yeah, we went to the city and said, listen, we want to have a 5K. What do we need to do? What permits do we need to have? Which was, I mean, every single thing, and that's another thing that I think is important for people to know. Every single thing that we've done, it's been a massive learning curve. Planning a 5K. I never planned a 5K in my life. I'd never even run a professional 5K in my life, so I didn't know. But you just start somewhere, and we went to the right people and said, that's what we want to do. How can, what do we do? Went to a running store that sells shoes and said, hey, we want to have a run. Can we leave flyers here? And then, when you talk to people, people want to help you. So they sort of give you avenues. Oh, no, you should post it on a 5K running website or what have you. And so that's how we started was the 5K.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that about
Yeah.
you. That's
Yeah.
and I definitely want the people listening. I'm sure that this is already one of the best interviews I've been doing because not only are you telling your story, which is great, and you're doing something amazing there, but I'm also getting a lot of great tidbits here and strategies of how and encouragement that no matter what it is that the watcher right now where you want to make a difference, to just kind of go out there and
Just do it.
just have it to go out there and do it. So you went from 5Ks. Then did you go to the gala?
Yeah, well, we did a lot of little events,
Uh huh.
throughout the year, even just for other organizations. So even very well established organizations
Hmm.
in our community, we went to them and said, hey, can we sort of host an event for you where the proceeds will go to you, but at the same time give us exposure because you already have a following. And
Hmm.
so we're very, very fortunate to have, some really reputable people in the community or reputable organizations say, yeah, we would love you to do an event for us, and we'll give you the exposure at the same time. So it was just little by little.
Hmm.
Um,
And so not only awareness is probably the first step.
Key. Yep.
Is the key. Right now,
Exactly.
awareness is a big part of it. And I'll tell you, I brought many people to the last gala, and talking to people there, and really finding out some of the more things just really heightened my awareness. I feel that education was priceless. And not only are you gaining awareness, you're actually starting to make a big some additional impact. You had a house
Well, yeah,
donated.
we have the house. We're actually getting ready to move into the house in the next 30 days. So we haven't
Uh huh.
moved into it yet.
Uh huh. So
But it
so
will
you're
be,
creating a safe place for to
yep,
actually not just have awareness, but to do something about it too.
exactly. So to rescue the kids, and it's awesome because it will be the first home in like the whole Tampa Bay area and beyond, in sort of Tampa, St. Pete,
Yeah.
Brandon, Bradenton, whatever. We'll be the first one. So, I mean, it's amazing, And one of the things that just for anyone listening that I want to say, and I always thought about this was the Dalai Lama said, if you think that you are too small to make a difference, try sleeping with a mosquito. because that mosquito will bother the bejesus out of you
Oh
the
my.
entire night. And so, for all of us, it's like that. Like you can have my goal once I started getting involved was, oh, someday I want to have a house. I mean, that was the goal, but not even I was anticipating that it would happen as quickly as it did. So, I think it's great. Like I said, it's awesome. You have to have goals. We write down goals every single year for the organization.
Hmm.
And I don't know if it's like hocus pocus or what it is, but every year, whatever goal we've written down, we've been able to accomplish. So we do that. But I think that, we've been like really realistic as well with we're a little baby charity. So
Yeah, well, that's pretty inspirational, and it's going to make it's making an impact there. So, tell us about what you've got a gala coming up February 2nd,
yep, Super
February
Bowl
2nd,
weekend.
and it's a black tie event. So people get all they get dressed
Dressed
up.
up.
They have a great time. They also get some great awareness. You have. Uh, it's a lot of fun. There's a photo wall there. You have a silent auction there.
Yeah, I mean, we try to make, I actually had somebody make a comment to me the other day and they said, which I don't know if it's a compliment or not, but they said, how come you get so many people to go to your event and not that many will come to ours? And I said, because even though the topic is this very, very serious
Yeah.
topic, and I will never ever sort of negate that seriousness or take away from it, but there is a time and a place, and there's also a way to deliver something like that. So instead of our organization, and we've done this from day one, is instead of our organization focusing on sort of the fight against human trafficking or, the doom and gloom of human trafficking, all these horrible statistics, we focus on, children are a gift. Children are precious.
Uh
They're
huh.
not a commodity. They're this wonderful gift, and what can you do? And so, and another, sorry, I'm such a quote person, but again, Mother Teresa, one of my favorite people, she said she would never be part of an anti-war campaign, but she would be part of a pro-peace campaign. They're the same exact thing, except one's focusing on sort of the solution while the other one's focusing on the problem.
Uh huh.
And so we try to bring awareness and have these really fun events, where we aren't sort of bogging people down,
Yeah.
with the details, but we give them a very good understanding of what it is that's going on in a nice way, and they can still have a good time. And that's important. You don't want people to feel disempowered, like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, this is horrible. I'm gonna hide my kids now.
Uh huh.
That's not what we're trying to do. We're just trying to educate, like you said, be aware, and then move forward with caution. That's it.
Well, that's awesome. You just drew. I'm sure you just drew a big portion of the audience into you just by saying that too. Again, so I think that's a real important thing. It's like, yeah, do a difference, and there's you've been good at how you delivered that message, and I love the fact that it's about cherishing kids. So awesome. How
Yeah.
can people find out about what you're doing, about the gala, and then just what you're doing because they may be watching this after?
Yeah, I mean, we have a website, redefiningrefuge.org. It definitely needs to be updated,
Okay.
but there's information on there. You can always email me. My email address is on there.
I'll put some
Obviously, I
links
check
down
my
below.
email. What's that?
I'll put some links down below this
Oh,
video.
awesome. Yeah, so our website and our Facebook page, we get a lot of activity on our Facebook page. Probably a few hundred new likes a week, which is awesome. That means more people are starting to understand what it is that we're doing. So Facebook page, like us and follow us on there. There's always events and photos and
Awesome. Well, we got to start to kind of wrap this up here, but thank you so much. Not only did help us wake up to some of the things that are happening. Again, you've inspired us, and I'm sure that people are going to want to do things for themselves in their own local area. But anyways, hey everybody, I encourage you to go check out those links down below. And thank you so much for your time, Natasha.
oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you later. Bye,
All
everybody.
right, bye.